topic I chose was women and aging because I think it's something that not a lot of people talk about, but everyone does. So I just thought that was weird, and I wanted to go in depth with it. So to start, there's many levels of aging in all men and women, but in women there's approximately like 4. The first stage is puberty, which is when a woman will get her first period, and they get development of breasts and hips until their mid-20s. This is a really well-informed stage, and I think that's because women at this stage can have children, and they want everyone to know that and how to protect from that and also take care of that. So they have to learn the risks of getting their period. The next stage is motherhood, and this can be like being pregnant and getting pregnant, but also adopting or somehow becoming a mother figure. And this can also come with a lot of emotional changes like a period, especially during pregnancy, because they have this new role to take on as a mother, plus all their other responsibilities. It's also really well informed because you have a new person to bring onto this earth or raise. The third stage is menopause, and this is the stopping of the menstrual cycle, and I'll go more in depth later on because this is mainly what my concern about the aging that nobody talks about. So I'll go in depth with that later, but that's basically just the stopping of your menstrual cycle. And then the fourth stage is just elderly, which is retiring and everything older, so eventually maybe having grandchildren. And this can also come with depression when all your friends, if you get to a certain age, start passing away before you, or you lose a significant other. A few people that have influenced me a lot with aging in women is my grandma and my mom, because they both, they're at 2 different stages, and it's interesting to see them each at different stages at the same time. And my mom uses anti-wrinkle cream and makeup and all that, but my grandma just moisturizes her face every day, and it's interesting to see what each of them do or what they think about aging, because they both have different views. My grandma thinks that it's no big deal, obviously, because she's 80 now, but my mom still worries about wrinkles and everything. But my mom also says they're not important and not to worry about them, even though I can see she does. Another thing that influenced me to choose this topic was magazines, because they talk about 45 and looking great and looking like you're 25 when you're not, and I think that's not okay, because nobody looks like those people. A lot of the celebrities that are older and have nice bodies and faces with no wrinkles probably have plastic surgeons that help them do that, and personal trainers, which normal people can't afford, so it doesn't make any sense to me. And then makeup is another thing that I think is really interesting, because it's almost like a conspiracy that if they're trying to make money off of something, and they claim that this product works, when it comes to anti-wrinkle creams especially, if the product would work, then they would stop making money. So it makes me wonder, well, does the product even work? And it probably doesn't if they're trying to make that money. Through each stage, there's been expectations throughout history. Once a person gets her period, she is almost you're expected to become a woman at that point, and a lot of us are really young. I know people who were in 4th grade. I had a girl in my grade that was in 4th grade when she first got her period. You can't be a woman when you're in 4th grade, and I think it's really interesting because you're just expected to do so much now that you can have a child, and I understand that, but I also think there's a lot of pressure to it as well, because some people, and especially because everyone develops at different ages, so it's hard to cope with that. And then they're also expected to use feminine products right away and know how to use them, when we're never really even taught how to use it unless you ask your mom beforehand. And then in motherhood, you have to be able to balance a lack of sleep. If you have a job, you have to balance work, all your other responsibilities, plus take care of a child. And I think that's really not manageable. It's one thing to do that, but then plus the magazines and stuff and are telling you bounce back in 30 days after you have a kid, and it's almost impossible, because you can barely balance those 3 things before, and then plus try to eat healthy and work out, and it's a lot of expectations when it comes to being a mother, especially when it comes to physical, the way you look. And I think that's not good, because every mother's gonna have to gain weight when they have a kid, so the fact that they're trying to tell you to lose it all right away should not be your first priority. In menopause, you're old, so let's reverse it, is basically what people are telling you when you hit menopause. They say to like work out still and be healthy, use anti-wrinkle creams, and don't make your menopause public. I think that's one thing I've heard is that like people don't usually say like, oh, I'm going through menopause, and they try to like hide the emotional symptoms of it, and I think that's weird because everyone is gonna have to go through it, so I think you should just embrace it. In elderly, this is like the point when people almost stop taking you seriously because you're so old, and I think that's not good because a lot of the elderly people are very smart and like their minds are still there, yet they're not taken seriously, and they might get like, a lot of old women get scammed a lot of times by younger guys who think that they're just stupid and old, which is not okay because it's not true, and they're all still there. This is also the age when you can be like put into nursing homes by your children, and you're basically just like going back to the stage when you were a kid when people started taking care of you and you were not taken seriously. Okay, so back to menopause. There's so many things that go along with menopause that I didn't even have any idea about before I looked it up because nobody ever talks about it. When it comes to menopause, there's not just hormonal changes. There can be like mental like problems that come along. You can get depression, mood swings. You can be scared for the future, like if you're gonna be okay, if your kids are gonna be okay. And you can also become very self-conscious with the way that you are just because of hormones and everything. There's so many physical aspects that come along with menopause also. Along with the stopping of your period, you can have hot flashes, painful intercourse, vaginal dryness, insomnia, frequent urination, UTIs, decreased libido, vaginal atrophy, loss of hair, skin, and other tissues. And I think it's really crazy that I never even like knew these things happened. I knew that you could have hot flashes that everyone talks about when people get their or hit menopause, but it's just interesting that people hide these things when everyone's going to have to go through it, like a woman is going to have to go through it. So I think that they should be things that are embraced and not like hidden so well. And like I just think that the way that we're looking at aging is not right, and especially when it comes to menopause. When it comes to other things, I think that like a period and all the other stages, I think that there's little things that can be changed to help with that. But when it comes to menopause, I think everything is just hidden and like depressed, and it shouldn't be, because I think it's a very important stage in a woman's life, and instead of hiding it, we should be embracing it. So when it comes down to it, I think that the purpose of this video is to show that like everyone's gonna have to age, and that there's so many different levels and aspects to each section of aging. But I think that we should change the way that society thinks about aging. Makeup companies, I think it's the same thing as plastic surgery. If they're trying to make money, then don't necessarily believe the anti-wrinkle thing, creams and stuff. Like, I'm sure there are products that definitely work and do reduce wrinkles. But find the product that actually works versus the one that people just talk about in magazines and stuff that is the most expensive or anything. Just find out what actually works before we just assume that it does, so you don't waste your money. And then also, it's okay to have the wrinkles and the gray hairs, so if you don't want to waste your money on it, don't, because it doesn't really matter. And if you embrace aging in a positive way, it'll be shown, and other people will start to do that too, the people around you. And if you are a mother someday, teach your children, even males, that it's okay to get wrinkles, it's okay to get gray hair, it's okay to embrace your aging, and take it in pride no matter what age you are at each level. Be comfortable in your own skin and talk about aging and embrace it, and then it won't seem so bad once you get to that stage.